Chosen one, there comes a time when the noise around you becomes so persistent that it threatens to drown out the sound of your own clarity. It is in these moments that you are reminded of the necessity of stepping back, not to retreat out of fear, but to protect the direction you have worked so carefully to establish. When distractions compete for your attention, when voices pull at you from every angle, your strength lies not in answering them all, but in maintaining the quiet space where your real decisions are made. The world often measures success in visible milestones, titles, possessions, recognition, but you have learned that true progress is built in the unseen moments. It takes shape in the decisions you make when no one is watching, in the discipline you maintain when it would be easier to let go, in the way you choose integrity over convenience. This is not the kind of work that earns instant applause, yet it is the work that lasts as you move forward. You begin to see how easily people can be drawn into paths that do not belong to them, pulled by the momentum of others' expectations. You have walked that road before, saying yes because it seemed polite, staying silent because it seemed easier, ignoring your instincts because the crowd was moving in another direction. But the cost of living that way is too high. It demands pieces of yourself that you cannot afford to give away, leaving you disconnected from the purpose you were called to live. In this season, your focus sharpens. You recognize the difference between opportunities that expand you and those that only occupy you. You begin to measure commitments not by how impressive they seem, but by whether they align with your long-term vision. The clarity you carry now allows you to say no without guilt and yes without hesitation. Your boundaries are no longer reactive walls built in exhaustion. They are deliberate gates, deciding what comes in and what stays out. With each deliberate choice, you feel the distance grow between who you once were and who you are becoming. There is a quiet satisfaction in this shift, not because you have reached a final destination, but because you are moving with intention. You understand that alignment is not about perfection. It is about direction. As long as your steps are guided by clarity, even detours can lead to valuable lessons. The people around you begin to notice the changes. Some will admire them, some will question them, and some will challenge them. This variety of reactions is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a sign that you are living from a place that does not bend to every opinion. When you stop allowing outside pressure to dictate your pace, you step into a steadiness that cannot be easily shaken. Still, the journey is not without its tests. There will be days when old patterns attempt to reappear, when the urge to overcommit, to explain yourself unnecessarily, or to prove your worth through constant output resurfaces. In these moments, the real work is not in avoiding temptation entirely, but in recognizing it early and choosing differently. Each time you hold your ground, you strengthen the foundation you are building. You also begin to notice how much of your growth is connected to what you release. Letting go is not always about people. Sometimes it is about outdated versions of yourself, the one who doubted every decision, the one who needed constant reassurance, the one who accepted less because it seemed safer than asking for more. Releasing these versions is not rejection. It is an act of gratitude for what they taught you and a recognition that you are ready for more. As you continue forward, you see the value in protecting your energy with the same diligence that you protect your time. You become selective about where you place your attention, knowing that every thought you entertain shapes your internal state. This is not about building walls that shut out the world. It is about ensuring that what you let in contributes to your growth rather than pulling you backward. Your environment begins to shift to reflect this. You are more intentional about the spaces you enter, the conversations you engage in, and the influences you allow to speak into your life. You understand that your surroundings are not neutral. They either move you closer to alignment or further from it. By curating them carefully, you create an atmosphere where clarity can thrive. With this awareness, you also see the difference between movement and progress. Not every busy day moves you forward, and not every pause is a setback. Sometimes, the most important step you can take is to stop long enough to assess whether you are still headed in the right direction. This willingness to pause, to recalibrate, becomes a sign of maturity in your journey. You find that your resilience is no longer fueled by constant striving, but by grounded consistency. You are not pushing forward out of desperation, but moving steadily out of commitment. This steadiness allows you to approach challenges with a level head, seeing them as part of the process rather than as proof that you are failing. Even when the outcome is uncertain, you trust the process enough to take the next step. The way you view setbacks changes entirely. Where you once saw them as barriers, you now see them as signposts, markers that point you toward adjustments that will serve you better in the long run. Instead of asking why things went wrong, you begin to ask what they are revealing. This shift in perspective transforms obstacles from sources of frustration into opportunities for refinement. As you embody this way of living, you become less concerned with speed and more concerned with sustainability. You understand that lasting change is not built in a rush. It is built through consistent action, grounded in clarity and supported by boundaries that protect what you are building. This mindset removes the pressure to match anyone else's pace and frees you to move in alignment with your own timing. You also recognize that growth is not always visible to others. There will be seasons where your progress happens beneath the surface, unseen and uncelebrated. But these seasons are no less important. They are the times when roots are growing deeper, preparing you to sustain the weight of what you are building. Trusting this unseen work is a mark of maturity, and it gives you the patience to continue even without immediate results. The relationships in your life begin to reflect this maturity. You value connections that are built on mutual respect, shared values, and a willingness to grow together. You no longer feel pressured to maintain ties out of obligation or history alone. Instead, you invest in relationships that nourish your purpose and support your evolution, understanding that the right connections will strengthen you rather than deplete you. Your sense of worth is no longer tied to constant activity. You understand that rest is not a sign of laziness, but a necessary part of the cycle of growth. By giving yourself permission to pause, you create space for reflection, renewal, and creativity to flourish. This balance between action and rest ensures that your progress is sustainable and that you remain connected to the deeper reasons behind your efforts. Over time, this intentional way of living becomes your default. It no longer feels like a constant battle to protect your time, your energy, or your boundaries. Instead, it becomes a natural expression of who you are. You have learned to trust your own judgment, to honor your own pace, and to navigate life with a steady sense of purpose. You notice how your priorities have shifted from what is urgent to what is essential. There is a calm that comes from no longer chasing every opportunity simply because it is available. Instead, you weigh each decision against the bigger picture you are building. This means that some doors will remain closed, not because you could not walk through them, but because doing so would lead you away from where you are meant to be. This discipline in decision-making is not rigid or inflexible. It is guided by clarity. You understand that even good opportunities can become distractions if they are not in alignment with your purpose. It is not about saying no to everything, but about saying yes with full commitment when the right things appear. This shift saves you from the fatigue of constant overextension and allows you to give your best where it matters most. The trust you have in your own process deepens. You stop demanding immediate proof that your choices are working, and start recognizing that some seeds take longer to sprout. This patience allows you to withstand seasons of uncertainty without abandoning the path. It also gives you the courage to let go of timelines imposed by others. choosing instead to honor the pace that feels true to your journey. You begin to understand that alignment is less about control and more about cooperation. Life will bring unexpected events, and not all of them will be comfortable. But rather than resisting every change, you learn to adapt without losing your center. This adaptability is not about compromising your values. It is about finding the way forward within new realities. In this stage, gratitude becomes more than a feeling. It becomes a practice. You actively acknowledge the moments, people, and lessons that have shaped you, even the difficult ones. Gratitude allows you to carry wisdom forward without carrying unnecessary weight. It keeps you light enough to move forward freely, yet grounded enough to remain steady. The way you approach relationships transforms as well. You no longer measure their value by how often they provide affirmation or entertainment, but by the depth of trust, respect, and mutual growth they hold. This often means fewer but stronger relationships, where both sides can challenge and support each other without fear of judgment. Your communication changes too. You speak less from a need to be understood and more from a place of clarity. You do not rush to explain your every choice or seek validation for your every action. This quiet confidence sends a clear message to those around you. You are at peace with your decisions, even if others do not fully understand them. In your work or calling, you become more strategic. You recognize that doing everything is not the same as doing what matters. This leads you to refine your focus, to streamline your efforts, and to build systems that support consistency. You begin to value quality over quantity, not just in results, but in the way you invest your time and energy daily. Challenges no longer shake you in the way they once did. Instead of spiraling into doubt, you approach them with measured patience, asking what adjustments they are calling for. You no longer see difficulty as a sign to stop, but as an invitation to refine. This mindset turns potential setbacks into progress points, and it keeps you moving even when the path ahead is unclear. You also learn to protect your mental space. You limit your exposure to voices that breed fear, comparison, or negativity, not because you are avoiding reality, but because you understand the importance of guarding the environment in which your thoughts grow. Your mind becomes a space where solutions can form and hope can stay alive, even in the midst of uncertainty. As you continue on this path, the small, consistent actions you take each day begin to add up in ways that surprise you. The changes are gradual, but over time, they become undeniable. People who have not seen you in a while may remark on your steadiness, your clarity, or your sense of peace. They may not know the work it took to get here, but you do, and that knowledge fuels your commitment to keep going. Your identity is no longer shaped solely by the roles you play or the expectations placed upon you. You see yourself not just in terms of what you do, but in the principles you live by. This makes you less dependent on external labels or approval, and more anchored in a self-awareness that cannot be easily shaken. Even your goals take on a different tone. Instead of chasing them with a sense of desperation, you pursue them with patience and strategy. You understand that the journey is not only about arriving, but about becoming the kind of person who can sustain what you are building. This understanding changes the way you measure progress. It is no longer just about external achievements, but also about the internal stability you carry with you. With this perspective, you are able to navigate change with a steadier hand. Whether the shifts are in your personal life, your work, or your relationships, you approach them with the knowledge that every transition holds the potential for growth. You do not cling to what is ending out of fear, nor do you rush recklessly into what is new. You move forward with a balance of caution and courage, trusting that clarity will meet you as you take the next step. In this way, the chosen one's path is not a straight line, but a deliberate progression. Sometimes swift, sometimes slow, always purposeful. The strength you build is not only for yourself, but also for those whose lives will be touched by your stability, your insight, and your example. You are not just walking your path. You are shaping the ground for others who will come after you, ensuring that what you are building will outlast you. There is a strength in knowing that not every battle requires your engagement. You have learned to distinguish between what demands your energy and what only seeks to drain it. This discernment saves you from countless distractions and keeps you anchored to your purpose. You no longer feel the need to respond to every provocation or explain yourself for those committed to misunderstanding you. Instead, you conserve your words, choosing to act with intention and allowing your results to speak for themselves. As you walk in this awareness, you begin to appreciate the simplicity of a life built on clarity. It is not that challenges disappear, but that you have learned how to meet them without losing your center. You approach them with measured steps, understanding that the goal is not to control every outcome, but to respond with wisdom in every situation. This steadiness becomes a defining feature of your character, one that others notice, even if they cannot name it. The chosen one's journey is not about avoiding difficulty. It is about becoming the kind of person who can walk through it without being undone. Each season brings its own lessons, and you have learned to embrace them as part of your growth. Even when the process is uncomfortable, you trust that it is shaping you into someone more resilient, more discerning, and more capable of carrying the weight of your calling. In this way, your path becomes less about reacting to life and more about creating it. You no longer wait for perfect circumstances to begin. You move forward with what you have, trusting that clarity will meet you along the way. This proactive stance changes the way you experience time. You stop feeling like life is happening to you and start realizing that you are actively shaping it. Your days are no longer filled with constant urgency. Instead, they are structured with intentional rhythms. Times for work, times for rest, times for reflection. You understand that productivity is not about filling every moment with activity, but about aligning your actions with your priorities. This balance allows you to give your best without burning out, and to remain present in the moments that matter most. Even your relationship with uncertainty begins to shift. Where you once felt anxious without a clear plan, you now recognize that not knowing everything is a natural part of growth. You have seen how some of the most significant breakthroughs came not from carefully laid plans, but from opportunities that appeared unexpectedly along the way. This awareness makes you more open to possibility and less rigid in your expectations. As you continue, you become aware of how your personal growth influences the environments you enter. You notice that your steadiness often creates a sense of calm for others, that your clarity helps them see their own situations differently. Without forcing it, you become a source of guidance simply by living in alignment. Your example shows that it is possible to pursue purpose without constant chaos, to maintain boundaries without losing compassion. The people who resonate with your path may begin to gravitate toward you. Some will seek your perspective. Others will simply feel encouraged by your presence. You do not need to carry their journeys for them, but you can walk alongside them, offering insight when asked and encouragement when needed. This mutual exchange strengthens your own commitment, reminding you that your growth is not only for you. At the same time, you are mindful not to become overly responsible for others' outcomes. You have learned that everyone must make their own choices and walk their own path. Your role is to live your truth with integrity, not to control or rescue others from their lessons. This clarity keeps you from overextending yourself and ensures that you have the energy to fulfill your own responsibilities. As you refine your focus, your vision for the future becomes sharper. You start making decisions with a longer horizon in mind, considering how today's actions will affect your life months or even years from now. This forward-thinking approach helps you avoid unnecessary detours and stay committed to the work that will bring lasting fulfillment. You also begin to see the value of patience in relationships, projects, and personal growth. Quick results may feel satisfying in the moment, but you understand that true transformation often takes time. By embracing this reality, you avoid the frustration that comes from expecting instant change and instead invest consistently in the process. Your connection to your values grows stronger. They are no longer just ideals you aspire to. They become the framework for your decisions, the compass that guides you when options are unclear. This internal alignment makes it easier to navigate external pressures because you know exactly what you stand for and why. In practical terms, this means you stop making decisions out of fear of missing out, fear of failure, fear of others' opinions. Instead, you choose based on conviction. You know that every choice you make in alignment with your values strengthens your foundation, while every compromise on those values weakens it. This simple but powerful truth shapes the way you live. Over time, you begin to notice how much lighter life feels when it is lived from a place of clarity. You are no longer weighed down by unnecessary obligations, false expectations, or the need to constantly prove yourself. You can move freely, focusing your energy on what matters most and letting the rest fall away. The chosen one's path is not without its sacrifices. You may lose relationships that cannot adapt to your growth, opportunities that do not align with your purpose, or comforts that keep you from stretching into your full potential. But these losses are not failures. They are necessary steps in making room for what truly belongs in your life. In fact, you start to see that much of your transformation comes not from adding more, but from letting go. Each release creates space for something better suited to your current season, something that supports rather than hinders your progress. This cycle of release and renewal becomes a natural rhythm in your life, one that you no longer resist, but welcome. And as you move forward, you hold a quiet confidence in knowing that you are living intentionally. You are not drifting aimlessly, nor are you chasing every passing trend. You're walking a path that is uniquely yours, shaped by choices made in alignment with who you truly are. This is the strength of the chosen one, not perfection, not control over every detail, but the unwavering commitment to walk in truth, step by step. No matter how long the journey takes. With this clarity, you begin to build routines that reinforce your growth. You know that intention alone is not enough. Your daily actions must reflect your deeper commitments. This is why you focus on creating patterns that support your energy, your focus, and your peace. These are not rigid rules, but flexible structures that make it easier to live in alignment. You prioritize time for reflection because you understand that without it, life can easily become a blur of activity without direction. In these moments of stillness, you review where you've been, assess where you are, and realign with where you are going. Reflection keeps you from drifting and ensures that you remain aware of the choices shaping your path. You also recognize the importance of maintaining your inner environment. Just as a garden requires regular care to keep weeds from overtaking it, your mind and spirit need consistent attention. You intentionally feed your thoughts with what inspires you, strengthens you, and aligns with your vision. This discipline shields you from the pull of negativity and keeps you focused on what matters most. In the same way, you begin to view your challenges differently. You no longer see them as interruptions, but as integral parts of your journey. Each obstacle carries within it a lesson or a strength that will serve you later. This shift in perspective transforms the way you respond. You meet difficulty with curiosity rather than despair, asking, "What is this here to teach me?" The chosen one's path is often misunderstood. From the outside, it may look like unnecessary restraint or missed opportunities. People who value constant activity may not understand why you choose to pause, why you decline certain offers, or why you refuse to rush decisions. But you know that the depth of your work cannot be measured by surface-level productivity. You are building something that will endure, and that requires a foundation strong enough to support it. This approach extends to your relationships. You are more mindful of who has access to you, not from a place of arrogance, but from the understanding that influence flows both ways. You choose to surround yourself with people who respect your boundaries, support your growth, and encourage your vision. The wrong voices can plant seeds of doubt. The right ones can help you grow roots of confidence. Your interactions become more intentional. You listen more than you speak, observe more than you assume, and respond more than you react. This shift deepens your connections with others and gives your words more weight when you do choose to speak. You are no longer trying to fill every silence or win every conversation. You are focused on substance over noise. You also begin to plan with greater wisdom. You consider not only what you want to achieve, but also what it will require from you mentally, emotionally, and physically. This forward-thinking approach helps you prepare for challenges before they arise and keeps you from being caught off guard by the demands of your own ambitions. The more you live this way, the more you realize that peace is not found in the absence of difficulty, but in the presence of alignment. Even in seasons of uncertainty, you carry an inner steadiness because you know you are moving in the right direction. This steadiness allows you to navigate change without losing sight of your values or your vision. There will still be moments of doubt, times when progress feels slow, when the weight of your responsibilities seems heavy, or when the silence from others makes you question your path. But you have learned not to let temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions. You remind yourself of the progress you've made, the lessons you've learned, and the strength you've built. Your resilience is no longer reactive, it is proactive. You are not simply recovering from challenges, you are preparing for them before they arrive. This preparation is not rooted in fear, but in wisdom. You know that storms are inevitable, but you also know that a well-built foundation can withstand them. In this stage, you start to notice how much your life has shifted from where you began. The habits you once struggled to maintain are now second nature. The boundaries that once felt awkward to set are now simply part of how you live. The clarity that once required constant effort is now a steady undercurrent in your decisions. You are no longer searching for validation to confirm your worth. You live from the understanding that your value is inherent. This self-assurance changes everything. It frees you from the constant need to prove yourself and allows you to focus on creating, building, and contributing without the weight of comparison. As you step into each new day, you do so with the awareness that your journey is ongoing. There's no final arrival point, only continued growth, deeper alignment, and greater impact. The Chosen One's path is a lifelong commitment, not a temporary project. It is the daily choice to live in truth, to walk with integrity, and to protect the vision that has been entrusted to you. And so, you move forward, not in haste, but with purpose. You carry with you the lessons of the past, the clarity of the present, and the hope of the future. You know that every step, no matter how small, is shaping the life you are meant to live. You understand that the work you do today is planting seeds for a harvest you may not see immediately, but will surely come in its time. This is the strength you have built, the clarity you now carry, and the path you have chosen. You walk it with steady resolve, knowing that while the journey may not always be easy, it will always be worth it. If these words have found you today, Chosen One, let them serve as a reminder that your journey is both intentional and necessary. You have come this far not by accident, but through countless decisions that shaped your path and refined your focus. Every lesson, every change, and every challenge has been part of preparing you for what is still ahead. This is the moment to continue with clarity. Guard what you have built, protect your energy, and stay committed to the vision that aligns with your deepest values. There will always be distractions, voices that urge you to compromise, opportunities that seem appealing but pull you off course, and moments when the waiting feels longer than you expected. In those moments, remember that staying the course is not stagnation. It is strength. If you have been encouraged by this message, carry it into your daily life. Let it influence how you choose your priorities, how you invest your time, and how you respond to challenges. Continue to seek spaces, communities, and relationships that reinforce your growth rather than diminish it. The journey of the chosen one is not measured by speed, but by direction. Each deliberate step moves you toward the life you are meant to live. Whether your progress feels slow or swift, it is still progress, and it is still shaping you into someone capable of sustaining what you are building. Stay connected to this reminder. Share your story when it can inspire, and listen when others share theirs. Support those walking their own paths, but never lose sight of your own. Your next chapter is already waiting. It only asks that you step into it with the same courage and clarity that have brought you this far.